Hey, y'all, you listen to the Gary Owen podcast. Hashtag get some.
What's up, everybody? This is Gary Owen with the Get Some podcast. You can listen to this on iTunes. Just search Gary Owen, hashtag get some, or go to my YouTube page, youtube.com/GaryOwenCom. I am recording this live from my backyard, the unfinished backyard that I talked about last week that looks like fucking Iraq back there. As you can see, in California, they do not do shit to your backyard. Now, the part I'm sitting in, whenever we come back, this is the little extra shit. We put a TV back here. I got a fireplace. On the other side, I got a big refrigerator, deep sink, all that. It's going to be nice when it's done. But like I said, I put stipulations with my wife. I was like, we got 2 houses we still on the market in Ohio that we're flipping, and we got our house we got to sell. I said, till they're gone, this is just going to be Iraq. It's really like a post-Iraq because it's not like any bombs are going off or anything. But the bad part is the neighbors on both sides of our houses, now everybody has big fences. I've climbed the fence and looked over. Oh, backyards are so sweet. Ours looks like shit compared to that. But is what it is. I got to put my foot down sometimes. This has been an interesting week sports-wise. I'm going to definitely talk about NFL football, little NBA basketball, but the big thing over the weekend was that Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder fight. I watched the fight, and I'm like, okay, so the American in me wants Deontay to win. The guy that says, hey, black people are my fans, and so I would really think Deontay would probably come see me faster than Tyson Fury would if I was in the city they was in. So that side of me is like, yeah, I want Deontay to win. But then you got Tyson Fury. It's been rare I can look at a heavyweight champ or any boxing champ in general and say, I'm built like him. I was like, whoa. It literally is going to give all these, what you think are out of shape white dudes, hope that they can be a champ in something. If you don't know Tyson Fury's story, 3 years ago, 2015, he he beats Vladimir Klitschko, who had like a 9-year run as heavyweight champ. And what Tyson said was his whole life, his goal was to be the heavyweight champ. And then he said, then I get it, I do it. And he was like, now what? Now what do I do? I literally just achieved the goal that I've set out for since I was 8 years old, and I've done it. Where do I go from here? So what he did, he just started partying, doing drugs, staying out all night, drinking. His drinking exploits are legendary. How much he could put down. But he literally went from 260 pounds to 400 pounds. So he was no longer fighting. And then he said he was having suicidal thoughts. And he was like, probably wouldn't be here right now. He said then Deontay Wilder was fighting. After his fight, he had said he would love to see Tyson Fury come back. And he'd love to fight him. And Tyson Fury was like, whoa. And it just like woke him up. And that was all he needed as far as in his brain. And he said, I suffer from depression and, mental illness is a disease. And he said all of a sudden it got him out of his dark place and he started training again and working out. And just like when you drink, I think it becomes habit forming. Same thing with depression and working out. Like one of the best ways to battle depression is working out. Like those people that don't work out, that start working out, it's pretty much damn near 100%. They feel better about themselves. And it varies. I mean, I'm not a workout freak, but I like working out. If I go a day and I don't do something active, I feel like I kind of wasted that day. So Tyson Fury said he basically self-medicated. He said, I just stayed busy. I kept working out. And the goal was to get back in the ring and be a boxer, but it really just became habit for me. And he goes, as long as I'm busy, my mind's busy, I don't go into that dark place of depression. And which, when you go into that dark place, you have nothing to do. You just, how can I get the next drink? Where's the next bar at? Where's the next party at? And he basically self-medicated himself through boxing. And he has 2 tune-up fights, which he looked okay. He was a little flabby, but he wasn't in great shape. And then he signed to fight Deontay Wilder, lost over 140 pounds to get ready for this fight with Deontay. And, man, talk about a fight. I'm sure most of my listeners have seen it, but if you haven't, do yourself a favor when it re-airs on Showtime. Just find it and watch it. Because too many times in boxing, I think we get caught up in how they look and the styles of fight, and we just don't look at what's inside of them. I mean, what between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, just the heart and the passion and the way they just keep throwing punches, man. It was just like, for heavyweights, you don't see it. So it was, I mean, I was on the edge of my seat. I was bootlegging the fight. I ain't gonna lie. I was at Cobb's in San Francisco, and I was in between shows, and I got on my phone, and I'm not gonna say what app I went to and what website, but somebody had it on, and I was like, yes. So I set my phone up on a bottle of water, leaned it up, got the whole fight. Didn't even pay for it. Sorry, guys. I had nothing to do with your paycheck. But that was the closest thing I've seen to Rocky in real life as far as heavyweights go. And a lot of people know that Rocky movie was basically born out of a Muhammad Ali fight. And this was the closest thing I'd seen to it, because you got the ultimate underdog, the ultimate comeback in Tyson Fury, going against one of the fiercest punchers in heavyweight history, Deontay Wilder. So at any moment, Deontay can knock you out. And Tyson is just dominating the fight. And then round 9, Deontay clips him on the top of the head, right behind the ear. Bing! He goes down. And he was hurt, but he gathered himself, got up, and Tyson won the rest of that round. Of course, if I was a judge, I still would have had a 10-8 Deontay. But the way Tyson got up, I was like, whoa. Then I think Tyson wins the next 2 rounds. Wins rounds 10, wins round 11. Then you get to round 12. Deontay just cold cocks him with a combo. Boom! And on the way down, he hits Tyson again, and Tyson's head literally bounced off the canvas, and then you saw his eyes roll back. I thought he was out. I thought he wasn't getting up. I thought they count to 10, and he wasn't. All of a sudden, like, they get to 5, he just pops up like nothing happened. And then he starts taunting Deontay like he got his faculties back, and I think he won the rest of that round. I don't have a problem with the draw. The fight ended in a draw, and I was like, I didn't want to see anybody lose that fight. So I thought I was happy with the draw, because I thought Tyson showed, he gave everybody hope, and he said he when they asked him after the fight, they said, how did you get up? He goes, shit, I don't know. I don't remember getting knocked down. He goes, all I know is I was laying there, and something inside of me said, you got to get up. You got to get up. So then he gets up, and then you saw, man, there's numerous videos of Deontay's face. Because Deontay knocked him down to 12th, and he thought it was over. He did a throat-cutting thing, like, caught him. It's over. And then he looks up, and Tyson got up. And it was the closest reaction I've seen to Apollo Creed when he sees Rocky gets up in a movie. It was damn near the same thing. They can make a real-life Rocky out of this. For real. Because in the same way Rocky and Apollo got close and started training each other, there's not a doubt in my mind in 30 years – you're going to see Deontay in England or Tyson over here in America, and they're going to be like lifelong friends. You can't go through a battle like that and not respect the guy. No matter what you say before the fight, you can't. You're in close quarters. You're feeling their sweat, their deodorant, their breath. You're feeling their power. It's a very primal thing. And I don't know. I'm just going off as a fan. To fight somebody like that, neither of you got clothes on. You got nothing but shorts. It's just like you're all into the other guy's mist, and then to have a fight like that. I mean, the way they just respected each other, and there was a kiss at the end that was a little awkward. I think it looked like one of them went in for a kiss on the cheek, just like thanks, and the other guy turned his face at the wrong time, and it was a very Elton John moment between the two of them, and but the respect factor afterwards was just, I ain't gonna lie, I got a little emotional watching it, just because, they made sure they thanked the British fans and the American fans, and don't be upset with the draw. They just both laid on the line, and neither of them afterwards was like, yeah, I won it. I got robbed. They both said they thought they wanted to fight, but neither of them said they thought they got robbed. I can't wait to see the second one. I think the second one, you might want to say, let's have it in England. I say Vegas. Vegas is going to generate the most money and the most revenue. I tell you what, Staples Center has a history of having good fights, man. Staples Center is where De La Hoya fought Mosley the first time. Staples Center is where Lennox Lewis fought Vitaly Klitschko, one of the best heavyweight fights in the last 20 years that nobody really talks about. And now you got this Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury fight. I mean, I don't think you can get a better name for a boxer either. Tyson Fury. Oh, and just, this is what I say. As a white guy watching the fight, to see a white guy like Tyson Fury fighting, it's hard not to root for him as a white dude. And I'll explain. There's a reason I think black guys rooted for Tiger Woods and start playing golf. And he was the guy because for the first time and maybe ever, black guys especially, they saw somebody that looked like them that was just dominating golf. So now I always root for the underdog, I say. Like I root for black guys in hockey. I root for black guys in golf. I root for black guys, black women in tennis. I root for white guys in basketball. I root for black guys as a punter, as a kicker. I root for white guys as a wide receiver or a running back. I just like root for guys that go against the grain, that play a sport or a position that normally you would equate the other race or another culture to dominate. So how I found myself during the fight rooting for Tyson Fury. And I kept going, no. I like Deontay. I want Deontay to win. But then the other side of me was like, I don't know, man. I kind of like him. I mean, there's something to be said for that. I bet you if you was just a novice boxing fan, if you put like 30 guys in a room and they've never watched boxing, the white guys are going to root for the white guys. The black guys are going to root for the black guy. Just because it's like you're rooting for someone that looks like you. And Tyson Fury looks like most of the white guys I know. It's not like he's some big, ripped, Drago-looking dude. He literally looks like, I don't know, he could work at Chili's. He looks like the manager, a big-ass Chili's manager. It's funny. And then he gets up there and goes, yeah, I'm in shape in the best physical condition. I'm like, really? That's what best shape of your life looks like? I just think he's naturally a big-boned, big-body dude. He's one of those dudes, when he retires, he might want to go gluten sugar-free. He's going to blow up fast. Deontay looks like he's never going to put on weight. And this is one thing people aren't talking about either. Deontay weighed in at 212 pounds. That is a small heavyweight. I mean, I weigh more than that. And the fact that he was the one that was the aggressor, like Tyson Fury is more of a counterpuncher. But Deontay was always the one pursuing, and Tyson was always the one reacting to what Deontay was doing. And that should be the other way around. The bigger guys should be dictating the pace and walking the smaller guy down. This was just the opposite. I mean, this fight had everything. I hate it when people say they're not technically sound and Deontay's wild and he's awkward. I mean, that's what makes him so exciting. You don't know where his punches are coming from, and he leaves himself open to get caught. But as far as I can remember, he's never been down. He's been hurt, but he's never been down. And so whatever he's doing, it's working. So I hate when people try to change shit. Like if somebody has an awkward shot or an awkward running style, but they're dominating, then they'd be like, well, they're not doing it right. Oh, fuck, listen, Deontay Wilder is the heavyweight champion of the world. He's doing it right. As far as Tyson Fury goes, I've never seen a heavyweight move like that. Like he moved like a middleweight. He's very much is like a big, heavy white Pernell Whitaker is what he reminds me of. He's just big and he's so light on his feet and moves, and he's definitely a defensive fighter. But I'll tell you another thing too. It was weird saying the white guy's the quicker. He's the quicker one. Like he definitely was the faster puncher than Deontay. I don't know when's the last time I've ever said that, but I think there is something to be said about that, where race is a big factor. I mean, we always act like race isn't a factor in sports. Yes, it is. There's a reason Brian Urlacher was the number one jersey for years, because he was, again, playing a position that over the last 30 years, black guys have dominated. And then he comes in, you're like, whoa, just like Christian McCaffrey this year. Oh my God. I'm maybe not. Cam Newton's kind of like a rock star, but I guarantee if he ain't one, he's two as far as jerseys off the Carolina Panthers. right now. And I watch Christian McCaffrey, and I root for him because he's a white dude. I probably wouldn't root for him as hard if he wasn't white, but he's a white dude doing a position that you don't normally see. Like in the preseason, the Bengals had a kicker come in. I think his name was John Brown. And when I found out he was a black dude, I started rooting for him just because I wanted to see a black guy being a kicker because you just don't see it. So it's not like it's all white guys to root for. I root for those people who do things that traditionally you're not supposed to do. Wrestling, I'm kind of open. Whatever. When you watch wrestling. But boxing, I ain't gonna lie. I root for the white dude. Almost every time. Even though the black dude will probably come see me. Now I ain't gonna root for some dickhead white dude. Who would I not root for? Like, who's like a dickhead white dude? See, a lot of people, as far as UFC goes, a lot of people would be like McGregor, but I like McGregor. I like the cockiness, man. I root for McGregor every time. But I don't know. It's maybe just all of them. Now, UFC is a little different, I will say, because UFC black guys don't dominate that sport, and it's pretty even. White and black guys are on even footing when it comes to UFC, and no matter what weight class. Like I don't root for Brock Lesnar. I don't. He's a white dude. I don't root for. Maybe Brock Lesnar is the one I was looking for. As far as UFC goes, I don't think I've ever rooted for him. He just comes across as somebody that would never pay to see me, and probably wouldn't be cordial if I just met him out and randomly. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know. I've never rooted for Brock Lesnar, and he's so much bigger than everybody else. So whoever he's fighting is the underdog. So it's just hard to root for him. He's got a very cold personality. Yeah, UFC, I'm on even footing. I kind of root for the personalities, and that's the great thing about the Ultimate Fighter, was you got to know guys outside the ring instead of inside the ring. So I've always liked Rashad Evans and Daniel Cormier and just so many people. Even John Jones. I just like to see greatness, and so I was rooting for John. I think a lot of times we fight greatness. We see greatness and we root against it. We wanted to see greatness fall off. I'm kind of the opposite. I like to see people continue it. I rooted for Mayweather. Mayweather fought more Mexicans though. I made a joke on Twitter one time. I said Mayweather's beat up more Mexicans than the Border Patrol. That guy would just be working the Latino fighters. I always rooted for Floyd though. That was the one he transcended. I rooted for him against Ricky Hatton. I thought Ricky Hatton was. I thought that was fool's gold. Every time I saw him fight, I go And whenever you watch HBO 24/7, they always make you feel like that guy's got a shot. And every time it was against Mayweather, I was like, nah, this ain't gonna happen. Even when everybody was talking about Pacquiao, I go, dude, I don't think people realize how good Floyd is. He'll give you a first 2-3 rounds, and then he just figures it out. And then he just starts annihilating people. So, but anyways, if you get a chance, you haven't seen it on the replay, watch the Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder fight. Trust me, you won't regret it. Okay, outside. Now, there was a rumor also that Tyson Fury was donating his entire $10 million payday to the homeless and some other organization. I don't know if that's true or not, but if it is, thank you, Tyson Fury, but I wouldn't do all of it. And a lot of people, it's funny, when somebody says something like that, how can he donate all of it? I think what he realizes is his next payday is about to be the biggest of his career. Because if he does a rematch with Deontay Wilder and they do it in a timely fashion, like maybe March or April next year, oh my God, it's going to be so huge because everyone's going to want to see. You're basically going into round 13. That's what I wish they do. Honestly, I wish they do that in boxing. I wish when it was a draw like that, it'd be like, all right, one more round, boys. Let's go. I don't, as a competitor and a fighter, I don't know any fighters that'd be like, no, I'm good. I'm good with the draw. I just think if we do one more round, and I think boxing should be uneven rounds. I think you either go to 11 or go to 13. You can't go to 12 because then it's 6-6. If it's an even fight, more likely than not, I think there'd be less draws if there was either 11 rounds or 13 rounds. But I don't think anybody would argue with 12 rounds. It's a draw. Let's do one more round. Can you imagine if Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, they go one more round, guys? Just have them make sure they don't take off their gloves and stay there. Because a lot of times, as soon as the 12th round's over, they go to their corners and ding, ding, ding. Just hold on a minute, and we'll see what happens. I don't think nobody would argue with that. Before I get into the depressing part of my show, the Cincinnati Bengals, I just want to thank everyone in San Francisco this past weekend that came out. Especially shout out to my guy Frosty Rucker. He's a D lineman for the Oakland Raiders. Used to play for the Bengals. My son tried out for a 7-on-7 football team out here in Northern California where we're living, and we could not find a size 12 cleat anywhere. So Frosty had said he wanted to come to my show at Cobb's in San Francisco, and I said, hey, strange request. I was like, if you seen any size 12 cleats laying around the facility, you mind grab me a pair? So I don't know if we're getting Frosty in trouble or not right now, but thanks for the cleats. My son appreciated it greatly. And it was funny, my son has never played football before in his life. So I guess out here in California, this 7-on-7 league is on some other shit. It's just a quarterback and 6 wide receivers, basically. And he went out there with these grown pre-college athlete men. And I was like, holy shit. But I will say I'm very, very, very proud of my son because he hung in there. He didn't know what the fuck he was doing. And he was doing his best. And he didn't look like he didn't belong. He just looked like he was moving at a little slower pace than the other guys. Because at one point, he said the quarterback looked at him and was like, hey, run a 7-10 dig route. My son goes, as if, what the hell's that? He said, I didn't know what I was running, Dad. I was just running around. And then I guess there was a couple DBs, and I noticed this. I was in the bleachers watching the tryouts. There was a couple DBs that was a little aggressive, and I could tell they got a lot going on in their head. It was funny. There was a white kid, and he got burned like 3 times by some of the black kids. And he was just mad. So then he said, fuck this. So he just went up right on the line and started chucking people. Damn, they're tackling people. And I was like, oh, he's mad at himself. Maybe you should be a linebacker, buddy. Not a DB. Yeah, but I remember him and another guy was a little aggressive. They're probably good kids, just a little aggressive. And I saw the one line up against my son one time, and I go, oh, shit. And it was funny. So he just got up to my son and started pushing him real hard in the chest. And my son just kind of looked at him. And one of the coaches was like, hey, man, what are you doing? And my son was like, huh? And he was like, you got to fight off that. And he goes, oh, I didn't know what he was doing. I literally saw my son just look at him like, what are you doing, bro? Let me run my route. What is this shit? I said, Austin, they can make contact within 5 yards. Now, I'm not supposed to grab your jersey and all that shit, but they can push you around, so you got to fight off that. And he got better as the tryout went on, so they got the second tryout next week, and we'll see what happens. It's just a cool feeling as a dad to see your son get out of his comfort zone and try something that he never tried before. But he really is like somebody just moved to America and doesn't speak English because he knew nothing about the routes or anything else. But goddamn, he ain't look good. That mug had all the new gear on. He had new cleats from the Raiders. He had some fresh gloves. He was Under Armoured out. He should have got a deal with Under Armour. I was like, "Ooh, you look the part. He looks sweet." So yeah, it was just cool as a dad to see that. But I tell you, when we got there, I was like, "Oh shit, these are grown men out here." Because he didn't try out for some novice 7-on-7 team. He tried out for one of the best 7-on-7 teams in the country. It was like I was like, "Oh, maybe we should have lowered those expectations." So, no, but he did all right. I'm not going to tell you what he said because he has to do another tryout, but he has some funny one-liners about some of the guys that was trying out and some of the coaches' motivational tactics. My son's very much like me. He'll take everything in, and then a little bit later he'll think about it, like, I don't think he meant that. Sorry if my nose is if I'm sniffing, I'm outside. And even though it's California, it's December, it's still 55 degrees, which isn't freezing, but it's not like that hot. And it's the first time I've turned on my fireplace. Right there. It's the first time I turned on my fireplace. Yep. It's the holiday season again. The time of year when everyone is thinking about the best gifts to buy. And I have the perfect gift suggestion. How about giving yourself or someone you love the gift of an Audible membership this year? With your Audible membership, you can choose 3 titles every month.
1 audiobook, and 2 Audible originals that you can't hear anywhere else. You can listen to your selections on any device, anytime, anywhere, at home, at the gym, in traffic, or just on the go. Right now, for a limited time, you can get 3 months of Audible for just $6.95 a month. That's $6.95 a month. That's more than half off the regular price. Just go to audible.com/GOGS or text GOGS to 500-500 to get started. Again, that's AUDIBLE.com/GOGS or text GOGS to 500-500 to start enjoying your membership today. Do it.
All right, well, let me get into the depressing part of the show. After such a great start with the show with Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury and the great boxing matches, I don't know what to say about my hometown team, the Bengals. I'm not going to say I jinxed them. I didn't. All I know is the day I asked for tickets for the Steelers was the same day they started playing like shit when the front office said no. Ooh, damn. That sucks. But I said it last week. Joe Mixon gets 20 carries, they win. 12 carries. He had 12 carries for like 82 yards, and 2 of the runs were all him. He like cut back against the defense. There was no hole, and he made it his own. I don't get how we had 38 passing plays. And I say we, whenever I say we, just know I'm talking about the Bengals. I ain't talking about nobody else. 38 passing plays, 23 running plays. And a couple of those running plays was just quarterback runs that Driscoll was just like doing it on his own. So basically there was a 40-20 split. They had twice as many called pass plays as running plays. And you got a quarterback who's making his first start. To me, I just don't understand it. You got a running back. He's young. He's got fresh legs. And it seems like every time he gets going, they take him out and they put Gio in. I don't fucking get it, man. You're only 21 once. Joe Mixon's young. He can take a pounding right now because you can't take a pounding like that at 30. But the one – look, the season's kind of over. 5-7, we're still mathematically alive. But Joe Mixon's got 755 yards. There's not a doubt in my mind Mixon's like, I want to get 1,000 yards this season. That's the only reason I'm really watching. AJ got hurt. Our training staff and everybody, I don't know why. You got to put your foot down sometimes. The players, man, he should have not been out there. He went down. Nobody touched him. And I'm sure he's out for the season now with that toe. I mean, the players want to play, and I appreciate that, but you got to look long-term with AJ, man. Let's just be honest. Even if the Bengals would have went to the playoffs this year, they probably weren't going to do much. The few times they played like real legitimate Super Bowl contenders, they got smoked. New Orleans and Kansas City. You're always going to play close with people within your division, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and Baltimore. So I don't really take much account in that. But the playoff teams, they got smoked. I don't even want to think of the Bengals playing the Rams. I don't even want to think of that nightmare, or the Texans, or they got the Chargers this week. God damn it! Oh, that's gonna be so ugly. That's the only thing that made this weekend a little okay was the Chargers came back and beat the Steelers in the same manner that the Steelers beat the Bengals every time they play them. Every time. Bengals get up, Steelers come back and beat them. It was just nice to see that somebody could do that to them. It was nice to see for selfish reasons. And Green Bay plays like shit. And what do? They fire their coach. And that's probably a year overdue also. But the Bengals, I wake up, still no change. Marvin Lewis is still there, signed a 2-year deal. And, a lot of people say, they're Marvin's going to quit or resign and move the front office, and they're just going to bring in Hugh Jackson. I think Hughes would be a great coordinator. I don't know about a head coach. I'd rather see just somebody has no ties to the city, has never been in Cincinnati, and just bring in somebody fresh that has nothing to do, like the Rams did, like the Eagles did. Just bring somebody in that, I don't know. It fucking sucks. Is what it comes down to. It fucking sucked. Like I said last week, I was a virgin the last time the Bengals won a playoff game. This is going to be 3 losing seasons in a row. 3. I said last week we could be 9-7 or 6-10. We might be 5-11. I don't know if Oakland's got. We're definitely not beating the Chargers this week, and we're definitely not beating the Steelers in the last week. So you got Cleveland and the Raiders. You look at the Raiders, yeah, Bengals should beat them. They're in just as much dysfunction and disarray as the Bengals are. And then you got the Browns, who just for a pride standpoint, you don't want to get swept by the Browns. You would hope. Like I said, I wouldn't even throw the ball. Just give it to Joe every play. That would be something else. Make the season interesting. Just give it to Joe Mixon every fucking play. And then the next play, they're like, there's no way to give it to Mixon again. We did. There's no way. They did it again. 62 carries. Holy shit. and with the Bengals offensive line, he ran for 64 yards and 62 carries. Holy shit. This guy's on pace for 1,000 yards. I think you got to average 65 yards a game to be a 1,000-yard rusher in the NFL. Yeah, 62 carries, Joe Mixon. Oh, my God. Just that'd be so funny. By the third quarter, it's like, there's no way. Again. In fact, run the same play. Run the same play. 62 plays in a row. I guarantee you by the 49th play, the defense would be like, there's no way this is happening again. At least it would show interest because our stadium is depressing. Did anybody see pictures of the stadium? It's like, 20, 30,000 empty seats? Like, okay, so I'm going to Cincinnati December 15th at the Taft Theater. And I'm going to tape this show and try to sell it to Showtime or Netflix or HBO. Showtime seems like the most feasible, but I'm going to tape it. And the whole reason I picked that weekend was like the Bengals are playing the Raiders on the 16th. I can go to the game. I doubt if I go to the game. I doubt it's going to be. If it's cold and disgusting, I'd be like, you know what? That's still my team. I'm still going to watch and root for them, but I'm not going to sit out there in freezing snow or rain to watch two teams fighting for draft picks. Hell no. I ain't doing that shit. It's dumbfounding, man. How 4-1 seems like 10 years ago. I just I had so much hope this year, too. If they wouldn't have won those last two games last year, when Tyler Boyd caught that pass and knocked Baltimore out the playoffs, and then all of a sudden, a week later, Marvin, 2-year deal, everybody went, what? Because 5-9 last year, everybody thought, we're done. Marvin's not coming back. We're probably going to have the same record. Probably going to be 5-9 again. And then watch us win the last two games. God damn it. Watch us beat Cleveland and Pittsburgh the last two games. We end up 7-9 again. I don't know. The other big news, let me break out that depression. Taft Theater in Cincinnati, December 15th. Tickets are selling great, man. We're going to sell out, but if you want to be part of a live taping, you might want to show up at that show. Now, I think outside of the boxing, and, well, the biggest news in my house is Bengals, but most people it's not, was Kareem Hunt from the Kansas City Chiefs got cut out of left field because a video surfaced. It looked like a hotel security video of him getting a huge argument with a girl, a bunch of people, but he pushed the guy that landed into a girl. He tried to push the girl another time, and then he kicks her as one last goodbye. And and the Chiefs, to their credit, they cut him immediately. And here's my take on that whole situation. Do I think Kareem Hunt is a menace to society and is a woman beater like that? No. The few times I've met him and the few times I've been around him or seen the circle he keeps, he doesn't strike me as that. He's not some Lawrence Phillips type wild, there's a mental defect going on, or Aaron Hernandez. No. What I see is a 23-year-old young man, liquor, boys are around, probably has not been told no a lot from women since he's been in the NFL, especially women that meet you on the same night because he said he doesn't know her and comes up to your apartment or hotel room. And in most men's mind, that's a yes. Once a woman says, yeah, I'll come back to your room, most men think that's a yes. This chick from what I heard from the story, decided, nah, I don't want to sleep with you. Or his boys. I don't know which one it was. And they wanted her to leave, and she didn't want to leave. And words are exchanged, and the chicks I heard was what I heard, the chick's 19, 21 years old. And so you got alcohol, you got youth, and you got immaturity, which kind of goes with youth, all mixed up. And then I don't know what curse words. I heard the N word was thrown out there. I don't know, but Kareem Hunt, who has everything to lose because you don't know anybody else in that video. There's at least eight people in that video, and you haven't heard another name but Kareem Hunt. You have his boys was there. This girl had friends there. The only name I've heard is Kareem Hunt. So you're the only one that's got anything to lose. And you just have to slow down, even in the midst of whatever, and think, is it worth it? A week from now, when I wake up, is it worth it? I remember I was driving down to Florida. One of the worst vacations I've ever had. My stepdad, my mom, my brother and sister. We stopped in Valdosta, Georgia. There's my mom, my stepdad, my brother Dallas, my brother Kyle, my sister Assie, my sister Michelle, and me. 7 of us in a hotel room with 2 beds. There's not enough room for 7 people to sleep. And my brother, I literally had to lay down on my stomach, and my brother Dallas slept on my back like a kangaroo in the bed. And that's how I literally had to sleep because there wasn't any other room. And I remember thinking, this is so uncomfortable. But, and this is me at 14, 15 years old thinking, I'm going to laugh about this in 10 years. I'm going to be cracking up about this story. And, that night, I was like, this is uncomfortable. This sucks and everything. But even at that young age, I was like, I'm going to laugh about this in 10 years from now. And I've always had I don't know why, I've always had an innate ability to think things through when I think things might go left. Like with that Kareem Hunt incident, if I was with Kareem, that would have never happened. I would have grabbed him, pushed him away, or I would have gotten the girls there and tried to calm her down, or just escorted her out of the building politely. But it's just, I always say it takes 25 years old before shit starts to make sense for most people. There's a reason the military recruits guys out of high school and not 30-year-old men. Guys out of high school will jump on that fucking grenade and kill themselves for the team. With the Kareem Hunt thing, now this wasn't near as bad as Ray Rice because we like to put a blanket over everything. It wasn't even close to that. I think even when it looks like Kareem was kicking her, I think in mid-kick he went, oh, I shouldn't do this. And it was more of like a love, not a love tap, but it wasn't like a full-on. Man, if he would have full-on kicked her, that bitch would have lost her. I don't want to say that bitch. That young lady would have lost her teeth. That was the comedian in me. I'm sorry, I slipped up. That young lady would have lost her teeth, had a concussion, whatever. It was more of a dunk. It was like a boonk. It was almost like, I don't know. It was like 2 ping pong balls at the amusement park floating in that water, and they kind of hit, dink, and they just kind of fall apart. It was a kick like that. It wasn't no, I'm kicking to fuck you up and knock you out, World Star hip hop kicks. It was a very soft kick for an NFL player to kick a young lady. It wasn't like the Ray Rice incident. But it's still, he was completely wrong, not justifying it, should have got cut. But in this instance, I do think this shouldn't be a career killer for him. And I would say this, he was an average NFL running back. I'm not saying it because he's damn near an MVP candidate this year. I mean, young, stupid, learn from it. And I will say the Chiefs, the interview I saw Kareem Hunt, he wanted to do an interview with ESPN. He does the interview, and he said all the right things, but you could tell it was completely rehearsed because and that's the bad thing about it. If you want to be completely honest, you can't. You can't do an interview that and be completely honest because this is from an outsider looking in. Because if he's being completely honest and the things that I saw and the things that I've read about the incident is, look, we had a bunch of girls. We were out at a club. We go up to my apartment Everybody knew what the deal was, and this chick wasn't playing ball, so we kicked her out, and she got mad and started having words and cussing us out, and somebody called her a bitch and a hoe. Get the fuck out of here, hoe. You ain't gonna call me no hoe. I ain't no bitch. And then everything goes left after that. Kareem Hunt obviously can't say that, and he can't say, look at this female reporter that's interviewing him and say, come on now, why are you going up to my apartment at 3 a.m? Come on now. You can't say things like that. You just can't. Even though if he would have met 20 girls, I bet you 18 of them would have said yes in that situation. But you got to always think before you do shit like that. You got to say, is this worth it? Even tomorrow, if I wake up in the morning, is it worth it? No. I mean, listen, that girl says no. There's 30 other girls that are going to say yes. Just got to be patient, Kareem. I hate to see how can you imagine how he's going to feel if the Chiefs go to the Super Bowl and win it? Because the bad part about it is he's always going to be part of that story. He's always going to be part of that Super Bowl run that he didn't get to finish. But when he did that interview on ESPN, I go, this is so rehearsed. He said, I'm taking full responsibility. The Chiefs are right in cutting me, but he didn't want to really get into what happened that night. And so I was like, I think it's kind of obvious what happened that night. Why are you coming up? And why are you even coming? Just say no from jump. And you get to a point where you're a running back in the NFL and you're at a club, you're young. Most of the girls you're talking to are young. So, like I said, most of them are going to say yes. You know what's the deal is when you go up to the room. This one didn't want to. And he was like, the fuck? What do you mean you don't want to? And then that's when shit goes left. Then people say things that they probably shouldn't say. And I'm sure bitch and hoe came out of numerous people's mouths that night. From what I heard, the N-word came out. I just hate to see it because I met him last year at the Super Bowl. And he was just a nice guy, And he's a small conference dude too. Like I grew up in Oxford, Ohio, where Miami of Ohio's at. So I always root for like those MAC players. And he went to Toledo and just, one of those guys came out of left field. He's not big. He's not, I hope he gets another shot. I do. Obviously not this year, but I do hope at some point he gets another shot in the NFL. And just like the Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder fight, we love a comeback story. You love a comeback story. Similar to Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon hit the girl in Oklahoma when he was young. I think he was 17 or 18. And, everybody thought when he got drafted, there'd be this huge backlash and the Bengals are going to lose their fan base. Now, the Bengals are losing our fan base because our ownership and coaches suck right now. And honestly, some of the players. But that'll lose your fan base. It ain't because of Joe Mixon. Because if you ask the Bengals fans, they're like, just keep giving him the ball. We need more Joe Mixons on the team. But he hasn't had any run-ins with the law since. Been a model citizen in Cincinnati. Cordial has, does charity work. He's always out there. I had him on the podcast over the summer. He's just a very likable guy, and it just made a terrible decision. Awful. It's funny when people always say, "What if that was your daughter? What would you say? What if that was your daughter?" Dude, I'd want to kill the motherfucker if it was my daughter. Promise you that. But I try to look at it from just how can I say it? An unobjective individual. I don't think hitting anybody is okay. A lot of people like a man shouldn't hit a woman. Nah, you shouldn't hit anybody. For what? Listen, if you get in a fight and you win a fight, your hands hurt. If you lose a fight, your face is hurt. Either way, you're hurt. So I always thought, just walk away, man. There is nothing. There's nothing you can say to me to make me want to put hands on people. You can call me whatever name you want to call me. You can say whatever you want about my family, whatever. We're just going to leave. Because to me, if it got to the point where you could say something about my wife or my daughter or my son in front of me, in front of them, you either ain't got nothing to lose or you really, really want to hurt me. So I'm like, it just ain't worth it. And a lot of people might take another approach like, you ain't gonna say nothing about my wife. You ain't gonna say nothing about my mom. I'm like this. I'm just gonna walk away unless there's a physical threat to me. Because you're just showing your ignorance is all you're showing, and you're showing. I don't know. You have no effect on my life once I leave the situation. So if let's say we're at a restaurant and you're going off. Let's say you're calling me a bitch and a pussy, and you're calling my wife names and you're calling my kids names. I'm literally just gonna gather. We out, leave, and we're gone. And when we get home, that motherfucker's out of our lives. We ain't ever got to see or deal with that dude again. And what did I lose for it? People be like, oh, I can't believe you do that. I'd be like, whatever. We fine. We healthy. We enjoying our food in my house. There's no police. Because even if let's say somebody calls you a name and you get in a fight and you whoop their ass and you were justified and the cops come. You still got to do it with the cops. You still got to do paperwork. You're still going to get phone calls for the next week and a half, 2 weeks dealing with that incident regardless. It just ain't worth it. I had friends of mine, white guys, man, never got into arguments, never been in fights, just the whitest of white guys you can get. The kind of guys you want to go to a bar and hang out with, and because you know nothing's going to pop off. They got a good aura and a good vibe about them. They go out one night and this is a true story. They go out one night, they get in a verbal altercation with this guy. The guy's completely drunk out of his mind. When they told me the story, they didn't have to tell me their side. I know they didn't start it. I've been out, hung out with these guys hundreds of times. They decide to leave the situation. So they leave the bar because this guy's just in on them. And then the guy follows them out. And then now he gets in their face. And my buddy literally pushed him to get him away from him. The guy loses his balance, falls, hits his back of his head on the curb, and dies. So my buddies take off. They run away because now people are coming out. They don't know he's dead. They just saw him hit the ground hard and awkward, and his eyes roll back in the head. So they run away. The cops come a few minutes later. They come back and tell the cops, we did this. Or my one buddy did it. He was like, yeah, I did this. I pushed him. So now he has to go. He goes in jail. He's in jail for 3 days. I bailed him out. And even in the end, he was innocent. He did nothing wrong. There were security cameras that validated his story, everything. He still had to deal with so much shit and cost them so much money. And he was innocent. He literally tried to leave the bar and the guy followed him out. So I would have ran away. As soon as the guy came about, say what you want, I would have just ran to my car. I would have just kept going. Because when I saw what they had to go through, and I'm saying my buddies because my one buddy was a witness, and this dude was completely innocent, had nothing to do, tried to leave the situation. Guy followed him out the bar. He turned around, got in his face, and he pushed him to get him away from him. There was so much shit he had to deal with. I'd have been like, I'll just run. I'll just run away. There's no reason. I've been in bars and nightclubs in my business, and if a fight, any kind of verbal altercation or physical fight happens, I just leave before it gets to that point. I go, we're out. They go, what happened? I go, that dude just threw a punch. We're out. I just want good vibes all the time. And I know some people are going to be like, dude, you can't let nobody say something to your wife. I go, dude, watch me. And we'll just leave. We're going to leave this. And trust me, I'm going to make fun of that motherfucker on stage and on my podcast like there's no other. But you just, in this day and age too, you don't know who's got a gun, who's got a knife. You know, listen, this is my thing. I have never, ever, as an adult, I'm not going to say my teenage years. I'm talking about as a grown man adult. I have never just went off on somebody and then went off on their family in my life for just no reason, for some simple, I don't know, rear-ending situation. I've rear-ended a few people. Some people's rear-ended me in cars, and we had to exchange information. I had a couple people get out a little angry, but you just kind of try to calm them down. But I've never been so mad that I just want to go off on your family and who's with you and things like that. I'm just going to walk away, man. It's not worth it in the end. And this ain't just the NFL players, anybody out there. I don't care where you work. Just think about that. Man, it just ain't, in the end, it's not worth it. Like, go to the whole sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Because they don't bother me at all. I don't give a shit what you say about me. And that gets people more upset when they mad and you're not. You know what I mean? You know, your wife's a bitch. Sometimes I'm out. You know? I don't care. Your mama's a hoe. Who's talking? Is she? No. I'm not gonna let him get to me, man. I'm just not. I've seen listen, that was 15 years ago that incident happened to my buddies. And it literally was I'd say more than anything, changed the way I thought about things. I said, God damn, my boys tried to leave the situation. The dude followed him out and he pushed him just to get him away from him. And he just fell awkward and died. And I was like, I'm leaving. There was one time I was in Phoenix, completely ran away from these two dudes. Cause me and my other buddy was walking. It was late at night and they didn't look like the part. I'll just say that. And I was like, ooh, I want no part of this. And the guy said something and yelled something out. And my buddy yelled something back. And I looked at him like, why the fuck did you do that? And they said, what? And I just went, ping. My buddy looked and said, where'd you go? I said, fuck, I ended up in some like late night pizza spot in the middle of Phoenix. I don't know where I was, but I made a left, a right, two lefts, another right, and I was out. And I texted him. I said, I'm at this address. And and at that point, I was like, and my buddy goes, I can't believe you left. I said, I can't believe you yelled back. You idiot. What are you doing? You learn a lot about people when you hang out with them enough. You think you know somebody, you're like, oh, I've had guys tell me, they go, so you tell me if shit pops off in the club, you ain't got our back? I go, I don't. I'll be leaving. You can leave with me, but I'm leaving. So if you telling me, I'm going out with you. There's a couple, let's say there's 3 dudes, and we go out. And one of the dudes has words with another dude at a club. You in a nightclub. I'm like this, nah, I don't have your back. I'm leaving. I don't care who started it. I'm out. It ain't worth it. It ain't worth the next morning when I wake up, it's not worth it. It's literally not. No matter what they said or what you said or who did this, who did that, I just want to wake up healthy. And then I can laugh about the night before. I'll be like, damn, Gary, you ran like a pussy. I know. I was fast, though. I was out. I've had guys say that to me before. I ain't gonna lie. Like, damn, Gary, you be disappearing when shit pops off. I go, dude, I'm like Casper, the friendly ghost. Keyword friendly. I'm out. So that's just when I saw the Kareem Hunt video, I was like, man, you can't tell me right now Kareem Hunt wishes he would have just closed the door and be like, all right, sorry for the misunderstanding. You can go. You know? And even okay, let's give Kareem Hunt the benefit of the doubt. Let's say he was being polite and then the girl was going off on him. At that point, you just literally just have one of your guys escort her out. If he has to physically escort her out, just hold her, grab her, and remove her from the apartment. And if she's kicking on the door and pounding, the cops are going to get called. If you want to call the cops, that's on you. But you, under no circumstances, should put your hands on anybody. I say man or woman like that. Now, if you want to get one of your boys to lift her up and let her out, there's videotape, just like there was videotape in the on the security camera in the hallway. There's not a cop. There's not anybody that's going to press charges on that. They're going to be like, what? He just was removing you from his apartment. He was basically, you're the one wilding out, chick. So even if Kareem Hunt did nothing wrong, didn't say anything disrespectful, it was polite, and the girl went off on him for no reason. It was completely her fault. Still, you just can't let anybody get in your head like that to get you to a point where you want to get physical with them and hit them. You just can't. I don't care. I don't care what anybody says to you. It's not worth it. It's not about being right or wrong. It's just not worth it. Because where do you think Kareem Hunt wants to be right now? He would rather be in Kansas City at practice. He does not want to be home with no job prospects in the horizon. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you, if you ask him right now, he's like, yeah, you're right. I should have just walked away or just had one of my boys escort her out. It's just not worth it. It's not about being a badass or being you a pussy or you a badass, blah, blah, blah. it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And let me tell you something. For every badass out there, there's somebody badder, and you don't know who that person is. I've seen, I don't think I've seen any enormous amount of fights in my life, or I don't think I've seen. I can't say like you don't know my past, you don't know what I've been through, but I've seen growing up my fair share of physical fights, and I've seen some where I was like, I didn't see that coming at all. So you just never know. You don't know who knows how to throw them hands, and I don't want to take a chance on finding out. So I hope Kareem Hunt gets back in the league. I hope in a year from now we can say he's redeemed himself and he's back. Because I would not be the guy to hold that against him his whole life for something he did stupid at 23 years old. If we're just being brutally honest, in the hindsight of things of abuse that we've seen, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't where he knocked the girl out or somebody got disabled or somebody has permanent damage. It was immature. I'm sure there was alcohol involved, and it was just somebody said something they shouldn't have, and it just escalated quickly, real fast. And there was probably some sense of entitlement. If it plays out like I think it did, I think there was some sense of entitlement where, hey, motherfucker, I'm in the NFL. I'm a star athlete. Yeah, girl, I can get any girl I want. I chose you. I chose you to come back to my room. And now you're saying you want to do anything? You wasted my night. I know guys think like that. I know guys that think that are athletes and entertainers, and I've heard it literally come out of their mouths. I chose you. I'm not going to say who, but I was with somebody. And he was with this girl all night at a club. And at the end of the night, she goes, I'm good. I'm not going home with you. He was like, literally, quote, bitch, I chose you. I was like, did he just say that? He said, bitch, I chose you. Like, so in his mind, he could have had any girl. And this is a dude that's on TV on the regular and in movies. He could have had any girl in this club. And the one girl that he decided to pursue and spend all his time with for that hour and a half, 2 hours, when it was time to go back to the hotel, she said no. And he said, bitch, I chose you. I was like, whoa, this is early when I got to L.A. and Hollywood. I was like, man, that's some bold shit to say to a female. But in his mind, he was like, I could have talked to another girl. I talked to you thinking you knew what the deal was. And then she said no. But to his credit, he didn't get physical. He didn't do anything like that. He just went home, and I had to hear about it the whole drive back. Man, that fucking bitch-ass motherfucker, man. I should have talked to a girl. I could have had like 30 bitches in that club. I'm sitting there like this. You going to go to Fat Burger? I got 3 numbers. I'm just going to see if one of them want to hang out later. So, yeah. So, hopefully, if anybody's listening to the podcast, take nothing else away from it. Ain't nothing nobody can say to you to make you get physical with anybody. It's just not worth it. It's not about a respect thing. You ain't going to disrespect my family, my wife. It's just not worth it, man. In the end, it's not worth it. Promise you that. Because who's ever saying anything bad or crazy about you, they don't have any effect in your life. You know, if that person ain't going to see you on a day-to-day basis, which 9 times out of 10 they don't, just leave. Leave the situation, then they're out of your life forever. You ain't never got to see it. Everybody I've been in I'm talking about teenage years, early 20s. Any guys I've ever had word with or gotten physical with or anything like that, I can't tell you where that person's at right now. I couldn't tell you where a person was a week later, because like anybody, I've been to bars and I was in my early 20s and stuff and almost got in arguments and fights, but it just didn't, thank God it didn't escalate like it could have. But I can't tell where any of those people are at that I got in arguments with at all. None. So it's taking nothing else away from the podcast. Listen, just walk away. Just leave or run. Make 4 lefts, 3 rights, and 2 lefts. End up in a pizza place and call your boy and be like, why'd you yell at that dude in the middle of Phoenix? My buddy, and then when my buddy found me, he's like, I didn't know he was that fast. I go, dude, when I feel like my life's in danger, I'll be flying. I'm Jesse Owens, not Gary. With an S. All right, y'all. All right, well, this is Gary Owen in the middle of California, a.k.a. Iraq, with the Get Some podcast. I'm going to take you out to the sweet view of my backyard.
If you want to listen to my podcast,